Oh, God, we're doing it again. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Then why won't you just have some caffeine?
Why do you want me to have caffeine so bad?
Just have some, dude.
Don't
have
need to
some
have
of this
any.
concentrate. Like, it's like
care.
4 cups at once.
All right, do it. Give me some.
All right. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Birth control.
Ooh.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's have a serious discussion about birth control.
Right now? You and me?
Yeah.
Why? Do you have...
I'm concerned about you. I don't know. So birth control in its current state is, well, it's interesting.
Yeah?
It's very interesting. If you are a woman that wants to take birth control,
Mm-hmm.
because there is no birth control pill for men, because
Men are scientists.
Why would we do that?
I mean, women are scientists.
I mean, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Come on, it just doesn't make sense, ladies.
Stupid.
Anyway, it's kind of a hassle to be on birth control. It requires tons of doctor's visits and like checking up on it and like no refills and like a bunch of bullshit. You can get an IUD. It's expensive, but it lasts for 5 years. But here's the thing. Once the IUD's in, you have to have it removed if you ever want to try to conceive, and then you have to put it back in. And like birth control is not great.
Right.
It's just not great. It's getting better.
Right.
But it's not great. So people are trying to make it better. Bill Gates actually is trying to make it better. He funded this MIT research into an implantable microchip.
Ooh.
That would go in inside a woman, I guess the same place where like an IUD would go.
Right.
And it is filled with hormones that release like 30 micrograms of this hormone every day. But unlike an IUD or a NuvaRing or something like that, it's remote controlled. You can control this with an app. You can be like, I don't need birth control anymore.
Oh, man.
You can do it with an app, with a button, however they decide to make it remote control.
Okay.
You push the button when you want to try to have a child and you no longer have birth control. And then when you have the kid, because this is like 10 years worth of this hormone.
Wow.
Is stored in this microchip, and it keeps track of how much is left in it. There's none of the guesswork of current birth control, and you can turn it on and off whenever you want.
Yeah, the good news is, 10, 16 years later, when you're still using the same birth control, and you definitely, that app is still definitely working perfectly on the same architecture.
There's not like a better birth control that people have dropped your birth control for, and so it's hard to find the drivers for your birth control.
You don't have to like worry about having an old ass phone just around to decide whether
everything's going to be USB-C, which is much smaller, so it's easier to stick it up there and upgrade the firmware.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be great.
It's better than like a dock connector. You
can just call one.
Originally, it was going to be a 40-pin dock connector.
Oh god. Just a serial port.
Yeah. So number one,
you just call the Geek Squad and they come in and they update your firmware.
You get in the stirrups at Best Buy, and they just take a look.
We'll have this fitted for you real quick.
So this is amazing. This is amazing because it is going to be cheaper, less invasive, more controllable.
Yeah.
I just I always hate being this guy because I make fun of this guy all the time.
Mm-hmm. Which guy is that? Skeptic guy or?
Kind of Luddite,
cynical guy.
Luddite guy, kind of just technophobe. Yeah, and I don't want to be because I know this is stupid, but it's just you're adding a layer of is this or is this not working,
right,
to something that's already kind of like, look, man, if this isn't working, you have brought a human life into this cold, unfeeling world.
Yeah,
so
that's the scary part is that my app says we're good to go. You sure? You're sure about the app? Yeah, that's my, I updated it. It's good. It's all good.
It's just a screenshot. It's like it's just Maury Povich. It's like a Maury Povich episode from 10 years from now. It's like, she said the app was on, but it was a screenshot. She told me the app was on.
It was a series of emojis. That's all it was. I didn't know what the app was supposed to look like. I've never downloaded it.
No, but that's the thing is like, so number one, here's something that is wirelessly transmitting from inside your body.
I'm sure there's nothing.
There's probably nothing wrong with that. There's probably nothing wrong with that. There's so much background radio wave emission in day-to-day life.
Why does the TV channel keep changing? Honey?
That's it. So there's this thing transmitting, and you're hitting a button with an app to turn this thing on and off.
Right.
Do you get any feedback as to whether it's on or off? Does it vibrate? If so, are people just hammering the button?
With the new Apple contraception, feedback is like a gentle tap to your cervix. Just a haptic feedback, and we've redesigned the look and feel so that it has that Apple clarity. Just simply tap on the new Apple app for 1 tap for baby, 2 tap for no baby, and then you get a gentle rubbing inside your cervix that's like a massage saying, no baby this month. Here's the thing, though, Anthony. I don't think people are going to be turning this on and off with any kind of regularity.
No.
Right? You turn it off once every maybe 2 years, possibly, if you really want to have kids like that. It's not like you're going to be frequently flipping the switch on and off.
But that's the thing. I know how human psychology works. Because I'm a doctor.
Right. Well, not anymore.
I'm not anymore. And some would say that maybe I never was.
Some would say that. I mean, the law says that.
But in the eyes of the law and maybe the American Medical Association, I was never a doctor.
But they can't take that away from you.
They can't take away my life experience.
Nope.
And they can't take away the doctor I have inside my basement.
That I ask
advice from anytime I can't make a good doctor decision. Yeah. But I ask him things less and less. No, but here's something that I know about human psychology. The less often we do something, the less inclined we are to trust that thing to work.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
You flip a light switch every day, and you know what happens when you flip the light switch, and you expect the light switch to work, and you see what happens when the light switch works.
Right.
Right? You get a new cell phone, and they tell you your cell phone will be activated within 30 minutes. If within an hour you have not received a call, you pretty much think that your cell phone's broken, right? Or they didn't activate it or something fucked up, right? When in reality, nobody ever texts you because you're a tiny bitter man who pretends to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to hear about it.
Right.
I mean, that's just a general...
Right. That's just who I am.
It's a blanket that applies to everyone. Yeah. That's not about me or anything. So, okay, you've got this microchip in for 2 years. And you and your significant other decide that you are going to have a baby. Mm-hmm. And you hit the button, and it's off.
Yeah.
Is it?
I hope.
And then when you turn it back on, is it?
You hope.
Because that's the thing. You have this app, but I have a feeling, even though you have this app, you're going to go into a doctor. You're going to make an appointment, same as you would now for any other birth control, just to be sure. Just to check, right? Like, hey, my phone's saying that this is working, but like, I would really like a doctor to take a look at it and tell me that it's still working.
You know what I would do, Anthony?
What would you do?
I'd just call customer cervix.
Motherfucker. You son of a bitch bastard asshole. I hope that you and your wife can never turn the microchip off. And you can never have a child.
That's the worst
And you can never pass on. You can never pass on your fucking dad joke gene to the next generation.
She will be very offended by that, sir.
It's not about her. I want her to have all the children she wants, just not with you. So here's my other thing about this. I hate to be making like those dumb, I'm a shock comedian making jokes about women, hole in the condom, but like, shouldn't there be a 2-key launch system for this app?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Or at least notifications turned on, right? Like, boop. Sally has turned off her microchip, right? Like you register as the significant other or something.
You're saying there's a whole layer of social media that's attached to it. Like on Facebook.
Not everybody gets it. It doesn't go to Facebook.
No,
but I'm saying I'm okay, but maybe it does hook into Facebook to see
if your status is in a relationship,
or married to,
attached, and then
and then it's like
it'll send it to you.
You both need to hit the button at once. You need to put your thumbprint in each other's phones.
Yeah.
And that's how you turn the microchip on and off.
I think just the same level of security that it takes for me to buy a $1.99 app in the App Store.
That's it. That's it. That's all I want. All I want is a confirmation. A confirmation email. Right. You are about to have a child.
Or I'm going to download the new Flappy Bird, like one or the other. Yeah. Either I'm about to have a baby.
If I got to put my password in to download an Instagram update,
yeah,
I better have to put my password in to have a baby. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I think that, I mean, we're making a lot of jokes, but the idea of creating a birth control system that A, is long lasting and you don't have to worry about it for a long time, and B, is as easy to use as an app, I think is pretty awesome that he's funding this.
No, right? It's amazing, and it's definitely opening up the door to other things too, right? Like you think about people that have insulin pumps installed, diabetics.
Right.
You think about people who, if you have some sort of like, well, anything really, right? Like, so I take a statin for my heart, right? Right now, I take a specific dosage of that statin.
Yeah.
Okay? And I have to go get it refilled, and I got to do all this stuff. But what if, based on heart rate or checkup or whatever, some sort of test, whether it was home or it was like we can immediately like up or down my dosage. We can immediately make sure that I'm getting the right amount of this medication every day. My ADD medication or like let's extrapolate this. People who have mental issues where one of the hardest things is remembering to take the medication that makes you better. Right?
Yeah.
The elderly or people who have mental issues that cause them like, hey, if I don't take my medication in a while, I begin to believe I don't need my medication and things get bad.
Let me say this though. You talked about the person that you don't like to be. Here's the person I don't like to be. The person that brings up the idea that how much of this responsibility do we want to abdicate to other people? Like if there's a universal code that my phone understands that lets me know whether or not this medication is going to my wife or myself or whatever it is, and now some other group of people has access to that because I gave access to them, you know. Well,
that's like you remember when people had those watches that could turn TVs off in public places,
right?
Or like you go to like the Arduino website. What is it like? I don't know what an Arduino is.
It's just a microprocessor.
Okay.
It's just a little.
But you go to like, and they can build a thing on the Arduino where they can turn off other people's TVs or jam cell phones. It's like a tiny computer.
It's just a small. We'll talk about.
Okay. So you think about that sort of hacking community, right?
Yeah.
You think about, that article that I saw on Wired last week about people who hacked the automatic start in a car.
Right.
Yeah. And then you start like hilarious teenage pranks where it's just like teens like looking in the window. Oh,
let's give Kevin a baby.
Mr. and Mrs. Hartberger are having sex, and now they're having a child. Ha!
Yeah, I mean that's worrisome. Also worrisome would be the idea of like, let's decide that a certain population doesn't get to reproduce as often as others.
Sure, but then that becomes you have to put the microchip in, right? So I think that's the thing here is like there is this scary like, what if the government puts in medical microchips that do number one, they have to have the medication inside them already.
That's true.
Right? Like, they're not tiny little chemistry labs.
That would be cool, though.
It would be super cool and scary.
Yeah.
Super scary.
Little science guy just inside your body, like, doing, like, beakers back and forth. Just, woo!
You download, like, a jailbroken version of the app, and you're like, we're making MDMA. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
Here we go. So you have to be like, okay, here's a microchip that is dispensing this into your body. Do you want this put into your body? Yes. Okay. Now we can control it. Do you want your doctor to have remote control of it? No, I don't want him to be able to change that unless I say he can change that.
But like, you know, the way that you get control is that you abdicate it intentionally, that you say, oh my gosh, this cool thing. Well, everybody wants to have birth control. It's so easy. Let's do it this way. Let's all sign up because this is the coolest way. And now all of a sudden everybody has voluntarily joined that group of people. And there's all this data about them that's in the cloud that we can decide, oh, well, these people should have babies and these people should not have babies. And
I mean, it makes for a great sci-fi movie. But
it does. And it's the kind of argument that I hate that I'm making. I don't like being this guy, but it's a legit concern for this technology to say, well, if you have a corporation or if you literally have something that can be remotely turned on or turned off, chances are you're not going to be the only one that can flip that switch.
Sure. And I guess that is valid on a certain level. I guess we also just don't know what sort of networking technology this is eventually going to take in, right? Like, what if it's something like this? Actually, the dumber it is, the better it is in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Same thing with the cars. It's like, why do all these systems talk to each other? They shouldn't. They should be as stupid as possible. They should only do the bare minimum of what they need to do, and that makes things. Walled gardens makes things less hackable.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is how networked will this be?
And I've always said your vagina should be a walled garden.
Yes,
I've always said that.
He actually wrote a book of poetry.
I did.
That
was
just
the
only
title.
it only calls the vagina a walled garden. It's like hundreds of pages of poetry. It's actually like really, really, I hate thinking about it. Whenever you bring it up, I hate thinking about it. Yeah.
Well, you read the whole thing, right?
I did read the whole thing.
You got something positive out of it.
I mean, I certainly read the whole thing.
Great.
And
So, do you think that it can be published? Is what I'm saying. Do you think that there's a market for the walled garden book?
I mean, I don't really know the poetry world, I think, as much as...
No, I know. That's why I'm aiming for a much more mainstream audience than just poetry snobs.
Sure.
Because I've definitely submitted it to poetry snobs, and really, the response that I get is pretty elitist.
If I could give like one piece of feedback, focusing on the wall part and not the garden part, like there were a lot of... Like, you used the word spackle, I think, more than I want it to be used in terms of a vagina.
Well, but walls and spackle, it's a consistent metaphor throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's giving me the imagery that I
shouldn't have gone so brick and mortar is what you're saying. I should have gone more what else are walls made out of?
I don't know, and that might be the problem, right? Is that it's
weird?
It's that 200 pages of spackle and mortar and brick.
It's weird that I didn't do any research into walls before embarking on that project. Did a lot of research into vaginas, but not any into walls and gardens. I could go on hours about gardens.
You know what? Let's finish. We can take this offline. You and I can finish this offline. But if you do decide to release the book, I back you. If not monetarily or publicly, then. Quietly when we're alone. I think if it's something that's more like, hey, this is a dumb remote that only links to this one microchip
in your phone,
in your, or however they do it.
Right.
I don't know.
It's more like it's like an old school, like garage door opener remote.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly that size and it looks exactly like that.
It sits on your bedside table.
And it makes a quiet, like, like if you put your ear up to it, and that's just the baby remote.
Just like a garage door, if it breaks, you just pull that cord, then it disengages the whole thing.
You can't recite one of your poems here. This is not a platform for you to market your poetry.
I mean, I don't understand why I'm doing the show if I can't do that. I only have one means of income, Anthony, and it is my poetry.
It is my vagina poetry specifically. No, I think that's definitely something that people will worry about. I think the other thing, and this is something that we brought up before, somebody has to be interested in you specifically and what you're doing and whether or not you're having a baby, and then they have to try to hack into your thing and turn off your birth control. Who the fuck are you where somebody's going to want to do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing, right? I think when people think about hacking, they think about like, they're like, well, anybody's password could be stolen. Sure. From like Amazon or Google or Sony or like a big company that has financial information and the hackers have something to gain.
Right.
What does anybody gain from turning off your birth control? Tracking you down, finding you specifically, hacking into your birth control and turning it off or on.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the conspiracy theory population control thing, I find preposterous.
Sure,
too,
there's
but
a
it's
big government kill switch, sure.
Right.
But you know what? Like, the government controls the water supply. The government has the government controls everything. Like, I don't know, man.
Tell that to the guys that hacked in and stole the manuscript for my poetry book and then just distributed it online without my consent. And what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to make money when anybody can just download all the vagina poetry they want and not even know that it came from me?
To be fair, that was the promise of the internet. all the vagina poetry you could ever want.
It's true.
That's how they sold it to us.
It's true.
And so,
I wish it was more of a walled garden. I mean, vaginas in general.
Right.
Not the internet.
I'm getting a little confused. I don't know. Would you guys be down for this, either as birth control or as a delivery system for maybe a medication that you have to take every day? I'm super in. I'm 100% in.
I actually agree with you. I think this is a positive thing. There are weird, scary overtones, but I really don't think those are something to be completely concerned about. But I'm curious what people think.
Yeah.
You can always tell us what you believe, if this is a good idea or not a good idea, by using Twitter. I'm at Jeff Cannata.
I'm at A Carboni. And hey, if you enjoy the show and you want to help support us, a great thing to do is to
buy my poetry book.
Just stop with to patreon.com/we have concerns. This entire show is funded by our audience, and you can get things like early episodes, bonus video hangouts with me and Jeff, and bonus episodes, extra long ones with our guests when we have them on. So those
are fantastic. If you haven't listened to the last few of the bonus episodes, they're actually very powerful, and they're entertaining, but also really interesting. Great stuff there.
Yeah. So go check that out. Patreon.com/we have concerns.